Have you ever found yourself standing in the middle of your own home and feeling just a little overwhelmed? Maybe the dishes have built up in the sink, waiting to be cleaned. Perhaps there's a growing pile of unopened mail resting on the counter, or laundry that's been folded but somehow never quite made it to the drawers. You look around, take it all in, and think, where do I even start? If that sounds like something you felt before, please know you are not alone. Life moves fast. Days come and go before we even have time to catch up. In the middle of it all, that dream of a peaceful, grounded home can start to feel like something we're always chasing, but never quite reaching. But what if I told you it doesn't have to be that way? What if building a home that feels calm and comforting isn't about doing everything at once, but simply starting with one small, intentional habit? Today, I want to share something gentle, something that doesn't ask for perfection, something that doesn't come with a long checklist or a heavy sense of duty. These habits are simple, but they are meaningful. They're not chores. They are quiet, loving acts that tell your heart, you are safe here. You are home. They're not about making your house perfect. They're about creating a feeling, a presence, a space where you can exhale and just be. And here's the beautiful part. You don't have to wait for the right time or the perfect conditions. You can begin exactly where you are, with what you have, and in a way that works for you. So I invite you to stay with me through this, because after I walk you through 5 foundational habits, I'll also share 2 special bonus habits, little treasures that many women have said not only transformed their homes, but shifted the way they experience life every single day. So let's begin this journey, not with pressure, but with intention. Let's move toward a home that feels like a deep breath at the end of a long day, a warm hug when you need it most, and a place that holds you steady. 1. Begin with love. Make your bed. There is something almost magical about how a small act done with intention can shape the energy of an entire day. Each morning when you rise, you stand at the beginning of something completely new, a full day, wide open with its unknowns, surprises, and choices. And the first few minutes of that day hold more power than we often realize. One of the most gentle and grounding habits that women who create peaceful homes embrace is this. They make their bed, not because anyone is coming to check, not to chase some flawless vision of a perfect room. They do it as a quiet gift to themselves, a first act of care, a small way of saying, this space matters. I matter. Making your bed doesn't mean striving for hotel room perfection. It's not about sharp corners or ironed sheets. It's about a simple ritual that tells your nervous system, there is order here. There is beauty here. All it takes is a minute or two. Pull the blanket up, smooth out the surface with your hands, fluff the pillows just a little. That's it. But in those few moments, something shifts. You're not just tidying a space. You're grounding your mind. You're choosing calm over chaos. You're starting your day from a place of care instead of rush. And even if the rest of the house is still in motion, even if the kitchen is messy or the mail stacks up again, your bed becomes an anchor, a visual reminder that you took time to care for yourself. It may be a small habit, but its ripple effect is real. And over time, that one simple act each morning becomes a message that echoes through the rest of your day. You are worthy of peace. You deserve a soft place to land. It's amazing how one simple act, like making your bed, can send a quiet wave of calm through your entire day. That feeling of accomplishment doesn't end in the morning. It lingers. Later, when you pass by your bedroom, your eyes land on that small island of peace, and just for a moment you feel grounded again. You're reminded that even in the middle of a busy or unpredictable day, you began with care. For many women, especially as we move through the shifting seasons of life, these small routines become more than habits. They become anchors, not rigid rules or expectations, but tender rituals that offer comfort, clarity, and a connection to who we truly are. Routines like this one aren't about control. They're about kindness. And beginning your day with something as simple as making your bed is one of the gentlest, most powerful rituals you can give yourself. Think of it like planting a flag each morning, staking a quiet claim in the territory of your life. No matter what comes later, unexpected news, a difficult conversation, a long list of errands, you started with something intentional, something dignified, something loving. That matters more than you may realize. And if there are days when you're too tired, too rushed, or just don't feel like doing it, that's okay. This isn't about perfection. It's about offering yourself a soft place to begin whenever you can. Tomorrow morning, before the world begins to ask for your attention, before you answer to emails, family, or headlines, pause. Take a breath. Gently pull up the covers, smooth out the pillows, and quietly tell yourself, "This is for me." Watch how that one act, small, personal, and full of love, can quietly shape the tone of your entire day. 2. Keep the sink smiling, little by little. The kitchen has long been called the heart of the home, and there's deep truth in that. It's where we gather with others, where we cook, sip, talk, and connect. It's where the smell of morning coffee or the simmer of evening soup becomes part of the rhythm of our days. And at the very center of this space sits something deceptively small, the kitchen sink. It might not seem like much, but the condition of the kitchen sink has a surprising ability to influence how we feel about the entire house. A sink full of dishes, overflowing and left too long, can silently weigh on us. It becomes a visual reminder of everything unfinished, everything demanding attention. There's a heaviness to it, a sense that things are slipping just a bit out of control. But a clear sink, whether completely clean or just thoughtfully managed, whispers something entirely different. It says, "We are cared for here. We are tending to the little things. We are making room for ease." And that message, though quiet, reaches every corner of your day. Women who cultivate peaceful, welcoming homes understand this truth. They don't wait until the dishes have stacked high enough to feel unbearable. They don't approach the sink with resentment. Instead, they care for it slowly, gently, consistently. They rinse one or two items at a time. They wipe the faucet after use. They notice when the clutter begins to return. And they respond with grace, not guilt. This isn't about having a spotless kitchen every moment of every day. It's about tending to your space with kindness, one moment at a time. A smiling sink is like a silent reassurance. You're doing just fine. A quick rinse here, a neatly stacked plate there. These small choices, made with intention, carry more power than they seem. Even on days when your schedule is full and your energy is running low, these gentle habits help prevent chaos from quietly settling in. You don't need to scrub every pan until it gleams or polish every fork until it shines. That's not the goal. The beauty lies in the manageable moments, the kind that say, "I care, but I also have limits." If a plate needs rinsing, take a moment to rinse it. If a few utensils are piling up, either soak them or stack them neatly. No need to tackle everything at once. Just touch the task lightly, often, and with grace. When you approach it this way, the mess never gets loud or overwhelming. It doesn't have the chance to become something that shouts for your attention. It stays gentle, quiet, and under control. And something beautiful happens when you begin to care for the kitchen in this way. You begin to feel lighter inside. The room itself feels more open, more welcoming. Making a meal, pouring a glass of water, or preparing a simple cup of tea no longer feels like a burden. It begins to feel like a gift. You reclaim the heart of your home as a place of nourishment and ease, not duty or stress. There's also an emotional ripple effect to all of this. When you care for the sink, you're not just keeping your home clean. You're sending a message to yourself. A quiet one that says, "I deserve a space that supports me." It's about more than dishes. It becomes an act of dignity, of self-respect. Maybe today you're tired. Maybe you're stretched thin. That's okay. You don't have to conquer the entire kitchen or scrub every surface. Just start with the sink. Let it be your one small bright spot. Wipe it clean. Rinse that last cup. Then pause and notice the tiny bit of peace you've just created. That little act, simple and loving, can be enough. Because these quiet habits, repeated day after day, begin to build something profound. They don't just clean your space, they nourish your spirit. They remind you that your life doesn't have to be one long game of catching up. Instead, you can move gently, calmly, in rhythm with your days. So the next time you pass through your kitchen, remember this. You don't need to fix everything. Just keep the sink smiling, little by little. You will feel the shift, not only in your home, but in your heart. 3. Handle it now, not later. There is a quiet kind of freedom that comes from dealing with the little things right when they appear. It's a mindset shift, and it's one that women with peaceful, organized homes understand deeply. Clutter doesn't arrive all at once. It doesn't knock on the door and flood in. Instead, it builds slowly, subtly, from the decisions we delay. A jacket draped over a chair, a coffee mug left on the side table, a pair of reading glasses placed absent-mindedly on the kitchen counter. On their own, these aren't problems. They're just small, ordinary moments. But together, over time, they begin to take up space. Not just physical space, but mental space, too. They whisper that things are slipping, that life is piling up faster than we can manage. This feeling of being surrounded by unfinished business can be quietly draining. It can create a sense of being behind, even when we've been doing our best. That's why the simplest solution is also the most powerful. Instead of leaving things for later, take a breath and handle them now. When you finish using something, take a moment to guide it gently back to its home. Hang the jacket on its hook as you walk through the door. Carry your coffee mug back to the kitchen when you put down your book. Slip your reading glasses into their case when you rise from your chair. These are such simple actions, but don't mistake their simplicity for insignificance. There is quiet power in these small moments of follow-through. When you handle these little tasks in the moment, you stop clutter before it has a chance to settle in. You remove the mental weight that comes from unfinished business lingering in every room. You look around and see peace, not a collection of things waiting for your attention. The tension eases. Your home starts to breathe with you, instead of pulling on your energy every time you glance around. There's another kind of beauty in this, too. You begin to move through your day in rhythm with your space. You're not constantly interrupting your life to catch up or clean up. You're flowing with your surroundings, living in step with your environment, treating it with the same gentleness and respect that you would offer someone you love. Of course, there will be days when the energy simply isn't there. Days when the demands of life ask more of you than you can comfortably give. That is okay. This way of living isn't about getting it right all the time. It's not about perfection. It's about presence, about building small habits that, more often than not, bring ease into your world. On most days, without even realizing it, you'll start choosing peace over postponement. Imagine a home where every item has a place, and most of those items are right where they belong. Imagine the lightness you'd feel, the clarity you'd carry into your morning, the calm that would welcome you at the end of your day. That isn't a distant dream. It begins with one mindful moment at a time. So the next time you finish reading a letter or sipping from your favorite mug, take a breath and ask yourself, can I take one more moment to complete this circle? These tiny acts of completion, repeated over time, won't just change your home. They will soften your heart, center your mind, and create a daily rhythm rooted in love. 4. Choose what you see. There is a quiet, tender kind of wisdom in realizing that not everything we own needs to be visible. Though it might feel comforting at first to keep familiar things out in the open, too much visual clutter slowly begins to weigh on us. Even when everything is technically in its place, the simple act of seeing too much at once can create a subtle but persistent sense of unrest. Organized women understand this deeply. It's not that they live with fewer possessions, It's that they are careful and deliberate about what they allow their eyes and hearts to encounter each day. When every surface is crowded, every shelf overfilled, and every corner holding something extra, it becomes hard for peace to take root. The mind, often without our awareness, tries to process it all: the stack of old magazines, the unopened mail, the trinkets gathering dust. This visual noise accumulates until even resting in a room feels tiring. That's why choosing what stays visible is not just an aesthetic decision. It's an act of self-respect. It's a loving message to yourself that says, "I honor my need for calm." This doesn't mean stripping your home of personality or charm. Quite the opposite. It means being intentional with the beauty you keep around you. It means letting your meaningful items breathe and stand out, instead of drowning in clutter. Perhaps it's a framed photo of someone you love, a single flower in a vase on your kitchen table, a well-loved book resting beside your favorite chair. When these special pieces have space around them, they take on new life. They become small anchors of comfort, gentle reminders of what truly matters. A gentle way to begin this shift is to ask yourself, as you pass through each room, does this need to be here? Does this lift my spirit? If the answer is no, consider tucking it away, donating it, or releasing it altogether. Give your treasures the dignity they deserve. Let them shine without competition or clutter crowding them out. This thoughtful approach works in every part of the home. A clear kitchen counter can make cooking feel joyful rather than stressful. A nightstand with only a lamp and your favorite novel can transform bedtime into a calming ritual. Even the bathroom, often overlooked, can feel like a place of refreshment when the counters are simple and serene, and there is no need to rush. This is not a race to minimalism. It's a gentle, ongoing invitation to make room for beauty, for breath, for stillness. Over time, you'll begin to notice something remarkable. Your space will feel more open, your mind more at ease, and your life more authentically yours. Pause for a moment today. Gently observe your surroundings with compassion and clarity. Consider what you genuinely wish to experience when you enter your home. Remember, each item you decide to keep and each one you let go of brings you closer to creating a space that embraces you with warmth and belonging. 5. A gentle good night to your home. There's a special kind of peace that settles into a home as the day winds down. The world outside begins to quiet, the sky darkens, and the soft glow of evening takes over. In these quiet hours, organized women embrace one of the most tender and grounding habits of all. They take a moment to lovingly say goodnight to their home. This is not a deep cleaning session. It's not about checking off tasks or tidying every room to perfection. It's about offering a few final acts of care, simple, intentional gestures that close the day with warmth. Perhaps it's straightening the pillows on the sofa, or rinsing that one forgotten teacup in the sink. Maybe it's turning off the light in the hallway and taking one last look around with quiet gratitude. These aren't chores. They are soft goodbyes to the day you've just lived. They are a way of saying, "Thank you, home, for holding me today." And when you walk through your space with calm hands and a kind heart, you send a message back to yourself too. I honor this life. I'm preparing gently for what tomorrow may bring. And that message matters. Because the way you end your day shapes the way you begin the next. Instead of waking up to clutter and yesterday's to-dos, you rise into a space that feels calm, cared for, and ready. Your home greets you like an open palm, welcoming, not demanding. This gentle ritual also creates space to slow down, to breathe. In a world that pulls us in every direction, these quiet moments bring you back to center, back to presence. You might only spend 5 or 10 minutes tending to your space, but the effect is far deeper than the time it takes. It's not about the size of the act. It's about the intention behind it. Even if all you do is fold a blanket or clear off a table, that small gesture carries meaning. It brings order to your surroundings and calm to your spirit. Over time, this habit becomes a quiet anchor, a way to ground yourself not only in your home, but in your life. Your evenings become softer, your mornings become smoother, and your home begins to feel like a sanctuary, one that doesn't just shelter you but supports and soothes you too. These moments are gentle invitations to pause, to breathe more deeply, to release the weight you've been carrying. For many women, especially as we journey through life's changing seasons, these quiet routines become steadying forces. They ground us when life feels uncertain. A lovingly tended home, even through the smallest acts, transforms into a source of renewal and quiet strength. This practice isn't just for the home, it's a gift to your heart. When you take a few moments each evening to lovingly prepare your space for rest, you're also soothing your mind, signaling to yourself, I deserve peace. I deserve ease. Try it tonight. Walk through your home slowly and intentionally. Plump a pillow, rinse a favorite mug, wipe a small corner of the counter, draw the curtains closed and soften the lighting. Move gently, with love, not pressure, with gratitude, not haste. As you do, notice how your home begins to soften in response. Notice how your spirit begins to settle. In just a few quiet moments, a sense of calm wraps around your evening. Done consistently and with care, this ritual reshapes how you end your days. It welcomes each new morning with softness. It gently reminds you that your home isn't just where you live, it's a living part of your well-being. You are worthy of that kind of peace. You deserve to wake up in a space that feels like a blessing. And it all begins with the simple act of saying good night with love. As we come to the close of these 5 small but meaningful habits, I hope you're starting to feel a renewed sense of possibility for both your space and your spirit. It's not always the sweeping changes that reshape our lives. Often, it's the tender, repeated choices we make daily that build a sanctuary around us. Before we finish, I have something extra for you. 2 bonus habits. They're not requirements, but gentle suggestions. Small joys that many women have found bring even more lightness to their everyday rhythm. Here's the first. Create a small basket of blessings. Often, it's the smallest corners of our homes that hold the most meaning. Among all the rooms, shelves, and tucked-away spaces, having just one intentional spot can shift how we feel about the entire home. A space of soul and memory. A space I like to call a basket of blessings. This isn't a catch-all bin or a place for forgotten trinkets. It's a sacred little nook reserved for the items that lift your heart. A handwritten note from someone dear. A seashell from a cherished shore. A photo from a day so joyful it still makes you smile. A small gift that arrived at just the right moment. These treasures aren't chosen by chance. They're gathered with love. The beauty of this basket lies in its quiet power. On days when everything feels heavy, when your mind is clouded or your energy low, this small collection offers comfort. One glance, one touch, and you're reminded of what truly matters. It's like a gentle hand on your back, guiding you back to center. Creating your own is beautifully simple. Find a basket, a tray, a shelf, or even a drawer, somewhere special, however small. Select each item with care. Let each one hold a story, spark a smile, or carry the warmth of love. Don't rush to fill it. This isn't about abundance, it's about intention, a slowly gathered reflection of your life's beauty. Over time, as your life shifts, so might the items in your basket. Some will stay. Others may be tucked away as new memories take their place. That's part of the magic. It grows with you, evolves with your journey. It isn't static. It's alive. You might make this a part of your daily rhythm. A few moments in the morning to ground yourself, or in the evening to reflect. Let it be a place of stillness, of gratitude, of remembrance. A reminder that goodness has been with you all along. In a world that rushes, that praises utility and efficiency, this is your permission to have a space that exists for beauty alone. You deserve that. You deserve a home where some corners are set aside not for function, but for joy. So today, I invite you, gently, lovingly, to create your own basket of blessings. Even starting with a single item is enough, just one quiet reminder that you are deeply loved, that your life is rich with meaning, that each day holds unseen blessings, waiting patiently to be noticed. Bonus 2. Welcome fresh air into your home. Each day, there is something quietly transformative about fresh air. It's easy to forget its power when life feels rushed or the weather isn't ideal. But simply cracking open a window can shift everything. It changes how your space feels and how you feel in it. Organized, intentional women often understand this subtle truth. Letting fresh air flow through your home isn't about the weather. It's about energy. Air that sits too long becomes heavy, stagnant. But when even the gentlest breeze stirs through a room, it brings with it a sense of movement, of renewal, of possibility. Opening a window, just a little, is a way of inviting change. It's a silent release. Yesterday's tension, lingering thoughts, or weariness can drift out on the breeze, and in their place comes the air of today, crisp with potential, light with presence, fresh with new beginnings. You don't need to swing every window wide. Even a narrow opening, just enough to lift the curtains or let the light shift, is more than enough. It signals something quiet and powerful, that life is meant to move, to shift, to flow. Fresh air does more than refresh a space. It clears emotional fog. It stirs creativity. It lifts the weight we sometimes don't even realize we're carrying. It invites clarity, calm, and openness. So, tomorrow morning, perhaps with your first sip of tea or coffee, open a nearby window. Pause for a breath. Notice how the air smells. Cool, earthy, clean. Listen for the soft stirrings of the world outside, a bird's song, rustling leaves, the hush of wind. Let these small sensations remind you that you are part of something living and ever-renewing. It may be a small act, but like all things done with intention, it has the power to shift not just your home, but your heart. These small sensory moments gently reconnect you to something far greater than the walls around you. They remind you that you are part of a living, breathing world, one filled with motion, renewal, and quiet hope. Opening your home to fresh air each day is a subtle yet powerful way of saying yes. Yes to change. Yes to growth. Yes to beginnings that unfold one breath at a time. Like the other habits we've explored together, this one doesn't ask for perfection. It only asks for presence, a willingness to pause, to open, to let life in, because you deserve a home that hums with possibility. You deserve a heart that feels light, refreshed, and open to the promise of each new day. And sometimes, all it takes is the simple act of cracking a window and allowing the morning to find you. And now, dear friend, as we gently close this chapter of our time together, I hope you leave feeling just a little more encouraged, a little more inspired, and most of all, a little more at peace. Your home doesn't need to be flawless. It doesn't need to be constantly tidy or perfectly styled. What it can be is a space where love lingers in every corner, a space where the smallest acts of care quietly build into a deep sense of calm and comfort. A space where the rhythms you create don't just nourish the home itself, they nourish you. You don't have to transform everything at once. You don't have to do it flawlessly. You only have to begin. Maybe that beginning looks like making your bed each morning. Maybe it's keeping the kitchen sink smiling. Maybe it's as simple as opening a window and letting the breeze remind you. Every day is a fresh chance to breathe, to reset, and to begin again. So tell me, what small habit are you inspired to start with? I'd love to hear. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know which habit spoke most to your heart today. Or, if you have a practice of your own that brings peace and joy into your home, I warmly invite you to share it with this beautiful community. Your story might be the encouragement someone else needs. And if you found comfort here today, I'd be honored to have you subscribe and join us on this gentle journey toward homes and lives, filled with more clarity, more kindness, and more ease. Until we meet again, remember this. You're doing better than you think. Your efforts matter, and every small, loving step you take is building a home and a life that feels just right for you. Take a deep breath, smile softly, and carry on with grace.